Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of First Look, Final Word, the podcast where we take you along to see a new movie with us. My name's Pete.
And I'm Trevor. What's going on, you suspected traitorous spies?
Okay, there you go.
Today we're seeing Black Bag, directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Yes.
When his beloved wife is suspected of betraying the nation, an intelligence agent faces the ultimate test: loyalty to his marriage or his country.
Ooh.
There you go.
We've all been through it.
There you go. Well, okay. So which one did you pick?
Well, depends on which country.
Oh, I guess you're in Canada now, so I guess you did pick.
Yeah, I've got to say Canada now, right? Yeah, I didn't know much about this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I had no idea, so I did watch the trailer today.
Oh, I still haven't seen the trailer.
So now I'm a bit more. I still have no idea what Black Bag is, but I guess we'll find out.
I guess black bag, like putting black hood over someone's head and transporting them to a unknown site. I think that's what it's referencing. But
okay?
I can just only assume. I don't really know much about this movie either.
You obviously know a lot about kidnapping people and stuff, so
Well,
take your word for it.
I can't comment on that.
Legally not allowed to.
All I really knew is that this is the new Steven Soderbergh movie.
Right.
There's a new Steven Soderbergh movie every 6 months.
Yeah, I know, right?
I guess.
Not really a big thing to
it's
necessarily get super excited about.
It's not an event really anymore. And but Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett being in a movie is
right.
how could you go wrong?
Yeah, from what I gathered from the trailer, it's like Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, British spies, Pierce Brosnan's in it.
I did see Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, like playing like.
Is he playing a German? I think, right?
I thought he was playing like. I thought he was playing like an M type character.
Well, you know what? I saw what his character's name is.
Oh, right.
And he had the
German face.
I think it was Stiglitz
McGerman.
Because it.
Well, maybe I misread the trailer.
Well, I'm hoping.
I just see him in a spy movie, and I assume he's like the British spy.
It would be funny if he was cast as M.
Right.
I actually wonder if once they do finally get around to making new James Bonds, if he'll be involved in somehow as an elder statesman type like that.
Yeah, I remember what was it, Skyfall, and the groundsman character was supposed to be Sean Connery playing like a retired Bond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that was the initial idea for that. And then they're like, no, let's not do that. It's going to ruin everything.
Let's get Albert Finney instead.
Yeah. It's like, that's going to mess with canon too much. Let's not do that.
Well, it's already too confusing that they established that character is literally named James Bond. His parents were Mr. and Mrs. Bond.
Yeah. It's weird. That's okay. Amazon will fix it.
They're a good company and they fix everything.
Yeah, they just make quality Bond content from here on out. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm excited for it. So this is kind of like our second spy movie after Argyle.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
I hope it's better than Argyle.
Yeah, we did not like Argyle. Guys, go back and listen to that episode. We kind of. I think that might have been our most hated movie that we've done on the pod.
And I think we were still more generous to it than most people. That movie was pretty despised.
Yeah, which was a shame. You could see what they were trying to do with it, and I really liked aspects of it. Let's not turn this into an Argyle podcast, but it was a shame that didn't turn out as well as it could have.
Well, sometimes I think as a director you lose it, and that might be what's happening to Vaughn right now. Has it happened to Soderbergh?
Maybe. Are you a big Soderbergh fan?
Well, I like a lot of his movies. I think some of his other movies are just totally fine.
Yeah.
And then some are garbage, and then half of them I haven't seen because he's made 45 movies.
Well, that's kind of how I was. It's like I liked a lot of his early stuff, and then it's just I guess if you just keep going and going and going, you'll eventually get a hit at some point. It's just to play the numbers game.
Yeah, for his recent ones, I think I mentioned this before on the podcast. I really like High Flying Bird.
Oh, I've not seen that.
That's that. I think it's a.
It's like a Noel Gallagher.
I think it's a Netflix produced movie. It's shot on iPhone.
Oh yeah.
And it's about striking NBA basketball players,
Oh, all right.
and it's really, really good.
Okay.
And then I think in 2022 he directed Kimmy, which is sort of like a Rear Window like light remake, and
Okay.
that's also pretty good. And then he's just got like 10 other movies between that time.
Yeah, I couldn't even name most of the movies he's made recent times. I'm not a big follower jumping on whatever he makes.
Well, I was looking at his filmography before he came out here, and I noticed Logan Lucky,
Oh
which
yes,
is
I
one that I
remember that.
really,
I
really
remember that
like.
movie actually.
That came out in I think that came out in 2017.
Okay.
And he's made like 13 movies since 2017. Like that's insane.
13 movies, that is insane.
Like I just get the impression that he's a guy that he doesn't know what he does to make a great movie, and so he just takes swings. He's like, okay, maybe this one will be really good.
Just on to the next one. We'll see if this one works.
Yeah, because he's also made like he's made Ocean's 11, which is like the
Yeah.
perfect heist movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Out of Sight, which is
Right. Yeah.
amazing. And like obviously Sex Lies and Videotape, which kind of started his career.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like I like a lot of his stuff, but then it's a lot of just like mediocre stuff. And it seems like he's just turning it out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I totally just feel the same way. But like, there's always that little glimmer of hope that this could be a banger. You never know, right? It could be that gem that pops up every now and again that it does. But it's not as likely these days.
No, not as likely these days, but certainly got the right cast for it.
Yeah, it's weird though. I feel like this one. I mean, I don't know if I'm just not like online enough or whatever, but I feel like this one's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. I've not heard a lot of fanfare about this one.
Yeah, definitely. This one seems like pretty anonymous.
Yeah,
And
it's like that doesn't seem like there's many showings of the movie.
one is dropping in March too. So
Nobody's like none of the seats were sold when I went to look to see if we could get tickets today. 'Cause this is like the opening night, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So doesn't bode well for
saw
for this one.
Letterboxd, a few people were watching it last night. I think it must have, dropped
Yeah.
in select theaters on Wednesday or something. But yeah, like this is he he doesn't really bring in big money anymore.
No, which is weird because, like you said, it's a like pretty great cast, and it's like it's one of those like spy thrillery movies that they used to do all the time that everybody would go and see, and they just don't do them anymore. And maybe this is why, because people don't really want to go and see them.
Yeah, like
Leave that for TV.
the drama for people over 40
Yeah,
has
exactly.
mostly disappeared.
I wonder why that is though, because people over 40 just not go to the movies anymore.
Yeah, I guess I think they do. It's just, you got to give them a good reason to get out
it's
of
not
there.
for the stuff that they can watch on HBO and 4 seasons of it.
What's the thing, like, your beloved miniseries is
Yeah.
gonna ruin people
It's
because
true though. I mean,
this is
like,
the sort of thing that would be like an
yeah,
eight episode
exactly. Yeah,
miniseries.
it's these kind of things for sure.
That's why no one sees comedies in the theater anymore
Yeah.
either.
That's true. When was the last big comedy that hit at the theater?
And
I couldn't even guess what that is.
anyone but you.
Which one was that?
That's the Sydney Sweeney, Glenn
That
Powell
was like
rom-com.
rom-com though. I
But
mean, like straight up comedy though. Like there's always rom-coms, but a straight up comedy? I don't remember the last one.
Well, I don't think rom-coms are really that, like, Anybody But You was notable because it was the first big rom-com hit for a long time.
Yeah, mostly just go on streaming now, don't they?
Well, the thing is, like, there's not like straight comedies anymore. Like, I'd say
No.
something like Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy
Yeah,
comedy.
That was a decent one.
That's definitely
I wouldn't call it a comedy.
that's definitely I would say that's a comedy.
I mean, it was.
It's a
but,
fantasy
like,
comedy.
Yeah,
though. Like
yeah.
it. Like that's what I mean. Like they're all kind of like mixed in with
It's like
genre.
genre comedies. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, the Hangover movies or like the last.
But I mean, the Hangover. When was that? Like 20 years ago.
Yes, that's true.
That's crazy.
So when was the last Apatow movie?
Oh
to-
yeah.
to
You
hit
know what?
big
The
in
last one I
theaters?
remember really liking was Game Night. You ever see Game Night?
Yeah, well,
That
it's the same guys who do Dungeons and Dragons.
You're right. Yeah.
But that wasn't a big hit either. Like that was just a
No.
great
I remember
theatrical
that,
comedy.
I mean, at least it was in the theaters though.
Yeah.
And people liked it. But no, it didn't make a ton of money or anything for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that movie.
Oh no, he died.
I don't see how that could be possibly profitable for Frito-Lay.
Yeah, we should do a review of that movie one week.
I'd love to. I don't know how to fit that into like one of our ongoing
No.
projects.
Just do a we'll wait for the Patreon to come out.
Just do like movies we want to watch that week. That's what our Patreon is.
1 week of every month will be a comedy. We'll review a comedy.
I don't know. There might be something to that.
Yeah. We'll just do them in weeks, like we'll do a comedy and action movie, and then like whatever else.
We did see Hitman in theaters, but
that was true.
That was mostly a Netflix movie. Like that got a very limited release.
Yeah, well, super limited. Yeah, we had to drive to see that one, didn't we?
Yeah. We had to go for a bit of a drive for that one.
Movie though, right?
Yeah. Well, you put it in your top 10 for 2024.
There you go.
Right. Like, did we miss any of the Soderbergh favorites?
Well, I don't know. I can think of. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you like the Che movies?
I didn't see him. I never really had an appetite to see him, even though they were a big cultural thing when they came out. I remember.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got. It's like I don't need to sit through a lot. I don't think. I just seen like what was the other one, the Motorcycle Diaries.
Yeah, it's like a lot of Che Guevara content.
I think I've had enough Che Guevara. Like,
Viva la Revolucion!
Right? So hot right now.
All right, so what do you think? Should we skip ahead to our Aardman stuff?
Yeah, I think we've covered enough. Kind
of shows our level of excitement for Soderbergh.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm secretly hoping it's going to be a good movie. It's kind of right up my alley. I watched The Killer not long ago, and I'm like, I'm here for Fassbender being a cold-blooded, assassin spy man.
Fassbender went away for a long time.
He did. I really like him.
He had some kids, and then he came back for The Killer, which is a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, pretty solid.
And now this one like a year later. So
I'm here for more.
One Fassbender movie a year. I'm definitely up for it.
Definitely.
Okay, so if you are a recurring listener to the podcast, you'll know that Pete and I do these ongoing projects where we watch like a series or a franchise or something. We're returning to our ongoing series on Aardman. Yes. They are
we've done a few of these now. I feel like I'm like neck deep in Aardman these days, and I'm not complaining about it.
I think is this number 9 episode?
Really?
I think it is.
Word. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's correct. Well,
they've done a lot of stuff apparently.
They've done a lot. Well, and we did take a break to do the Oscar project. Yes. So we're still finalizing what our next project is. So definitely write into us. Let us know what we should pick.
Let us know what you want us to do for a project.
But anyways, if you are not interested in Aardman, which is a animation studio, mostly specializing in stop motion animation,
you like Wallace and Gromit, you might want to stick around.
You can skip ahead to our review of Black Bag. But we're gonna dig pretty deep into to Aardman. This week we're talking pirates in an adventure with scientists, or Band of Misfits.
I could only find a Band of Misfits streaming, which I was upset about.
I'm sure it's the same.
It's exactly the same. Right? It's just the title card, but I was like, no, that's not the name.
And then we've also watched the Aardman shorts from 1996 to 2008.
Yes, or most of them at least.
Which ending in A Matter of Loaf and Death. So probably focus mostly on pirates and Loaf of Death, but we can talk about some of our favorite shorts in there. A lot of really, really short ones this week.
Yeah, a lot of 2-minute knock them out and they're done.
Makes me really think like that the official Aardman list of their filmography is not entirely accurate, I would say. Like I think some of these
are the ones that we found.
Yeah, like
I feel like they just pumped out a bunch of stuff that everyone there was just like, I'm gonna make this for practice, and it's like, okay, we'll just say this is one of our movies.
Well, I still didn't watch the Angry Kid special. Did you watch it?
I watched a bit of it. I was showing my kid.
Well, and because I originally didn't watch it because
you were right though. It is technically, I think, a TV show.
I'm like, this is just like a long TV episode. Yeah. Why are they counting this as a movie?
Honestly, it wasn't even a long episode. It was just a bunch of episodes stitched together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was.
It
was like an omnibus.
Give me the elevator pitch on Angry Kid. Well, what's his deal?
He's just like a British school kid who's probably like
I hate him already.
Preteen school kid with weird ginger hair, and he's just like a complete asshole.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just about an
Is he
asshole kid doing
sort
asshole
of
things.
Dennis the Menace-y?
A little bit. I just really like the animation because it's just a kid with a mask. So they shoot like a live action kid with a mask, but in stop motion style, and the mask is animated. So it's like clay face. So it's like an Aardman face mask on an actual kid.
Oh man, I did not know this.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
It's what I
have
mean.
to watch
It's really
this.
cool. And it's like the intro is him like literally riding like a chopper bicycle down the street and just like going nuts trying to get to school.
Okay, I gotta apologize to Angry Kid because this sounds very interesting.
I mean, it was a great concept. I thought it's just like I remember a guy I knew back home in England. He like loved Angry Kid. He thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. I mean, I didn't get it like he did. I didn't. It's not like the most hilarious thing. It's pretty like base level like kid humor. And we were like in our 20s at the time, so it's not like he wasn't really aimed for us. I don't think, but no, it's pretty funny. It's just like
Okay,
a typical jerk British kid.
a typical jerk, like a young Pete. Is that?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Just with more ginger hair.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out then. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty innovative.
Yeah, it was pretty like to see like is that clay or no? It's like that's literally someone riding a bicycle, but it looks like stop animation, so they must have like shot it with the low frame rate
Oh,
and then
okay.
animated the mask after the fact.
Oh, that's really clever.
But yeah, I should really look into how they did it because it's probably really interesting.
Well, some of the other shorts for this week, I definitely get the impression that, the main talent and attention at Aardman is not focusing on these shorts anymore.
No, I feel like it's just like all the animators that are there that are like just part of the massive army of people that do the animation. It's just like in their spare time. It's like, hey,
Yeah, the side of desk stuff.
it's like work out your creative juices by just making whatever you want, and they make some weird shit, man, which I really appreciate.
Well, the one that caught my attention the most was Stage Fright.
You know what? I knew you were gonna say that because I was gonna say the same thing. It's like fucking so weird.
What the hell is going on in this thing?
That's what I mean. It's like it looks almost like what a Wallace and Gromit sketch. Same style of animation, but it's just so weird.
They're just like, I don't know.
It's like a fever. Like a lot of these things are just like a fever dream.
It's like, sorry, I got to keep you prisoner in this theater while you train these dogs for apparently years.
I guess.
And then the woman actress is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I sort of knew he was keeping you prisoner, but I cared too much about my film career."
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel like they're not really too concerned about what it is, like plot wise, because I don't think doesn't seem like they put a super amount of effort into like the recording of lines or whatever. It's like they just pull whoever's available in.
Some of the audio, it sounded like they were recording it from across the room.
That's what
like
I mean.
It was pretty
I feel
bad.
like they just grab someone in the office and be like, "Hey, can you just say these lines so I can animate something?"
Like, for good and for bad, it seems like there's no one really minding the shop. Like there's no
they're not like crazily polished production.
Peter Lord is not saying like, we can't release this. This is not up to our standards, or like you have to streamline the story because it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, please, could you record audio like in a studio booth, or is this in your garage?
They're giving their artists room to kind of develop their talent or whatever, so that's good for them. It obviously pays dividends down the road.
Exactly. It's just but because I feel like if you're just monotonously doing a Wallace and Gromit movie every day for hours and hours, and months and months and years, it could be a bit soul destroying if that's your passion and you're just like doing something that's not exactly fun. So it's like, you know what, just make your own little wacky shit on the side and we'll just put it out on our website and be an Aardman short.
It's just so different than when you see like a Pixar short.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're super
because
polished.
they also use the Pixar shorts to develop in-house talent.
Very true.
But I do not think Pixar would ever release something like Stage Fright.
No way. They have higher. I don't want to say higher standards, but they have a certain level of.
There's a house style and
production level, let's say, that they have to be
minimum standards.
It's got to be certain standards that we're putting the Pixar name to here. Also, I mean, I feel like Aardman's always been a bit more punk rock than that, though. They're a bit like, whatever, we fucking do whatever we want. Kind of appreciate that about them.
No, definitely. Like, even Watt's Pig, which is by Peter Lord.
Yeah.
like is completely lacking in polish.
Yeah,
I
really like that one.
I
Actually.
do really like that one too. It's just it's fascinating that it's like it's not trying to be a crowd pleaser in any way.
No.
Like I in my letterbox review for it,
You did a review. Nice.
I put this is probably the most unsatisfying ending that they could have picked for this story.
Yeah.
It doesn't really like because the prince just like goes off and hides in the farmhouse,
Yeah.
and then his brother loses the battle,
Right.
and then they just all go back to living in the farmhouse. I'm like, oh, okay, so
What's the story?
like I don't, and they're like, okay, then he's gonna go out and he's gonna hoe a little bit, and then
Yeah, it was a bit. That's what I mean. I think a lot of it is just like an excuse to do something. It's like, it'd be cool. Like if we split up to twins and like did a split screen and showed their two different lives. Okay, that's all we need to go on. We don't even care about how it ends.
Yeah,
like what the point is.
the concept itself, like split screen in a stop motion
Yeah.
movie, is worth it. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it's pretty damn innovative, and
it was fun. It was fun.
Makes me think that like. If you were Peter Lord, would you not be like a little jealous that you don't have an Oscar yet? Whereas like
very true, actually.
Nick Park has, I think, 4.
Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah, well, he's not done yet.
He's not done yet, though. I didn't actually realize that he had directed Pirates until after I watched it, and I thought that this is definitely my favorite thing that I've seen Lord do.
Yeah.
I think this movie is excellent.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get into Pirates.
Let's get into Pirates.
We haven't spoken about it because you hadn't seen it.
I've seen it. I saw it about a month ago with my family. We all loved it. Like we were just like laughing our heads off the entire time.
Yeah, like I'd seen it a few times, but I watched it again last night, and for me, I think it's my favorite feature-length Aardman movie.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. And I know we've talked in the past.
Even more than your beloved Flushed Away?
Well, come on now.
I know. Again, I love Flushed Away. It does look like dog shit, but I do love it.
Yes, even more than that, even though that's not one of my favorites. And even more than the Wallace and Gromit movies, which we've talked about that I prefer, and we can get into that when we talk about Loaf and Dev. I love the shorts of Wallace and Gromit. The feature lengths I don't have as much love for. I don't think they worked as well. But Pirates I freaking love. I think it's got the best gag hit ratio of all the movies. It's so good. It's like the sight gags in there, which Aardman are always great at sight gags and background gags and stuff like that. But there's just so many in Pirates, along with just like regular gags. That it's just so funny, and it's just so tight and just like clips along. It's not boring. It's brilliant. I love it.
And it's got a big lead actor in it with some great performances throughout.
A lot of big British talent again.
Yeah, like people just show up on Aardman.
They
Aardman
really
calls
do.
them.
They really do. Yeah.
I had read today that they were originally going to do this as stop motion, but then when they built the models to base the stop motion on, and it looked so good that they're just like, okay, we just have to do this in stop motion.
Yeah. You meant animation, the computer animation, right?
What did I say?
You said stop motion.
I just said stop motion twice.
Yeah, he said they were going to make it stop motion.
Oh yes,
and they decided to make it stop motion.
Sorry,
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
I'm tired. I have young kids, and it's been a long. Yeah, they were planning on making it CGI because of the water.
Yeah, like the reference models look so good. They were just like, nah, we're going to do it.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like
I'm so happy they did, by the way.
They learned no lessons from Flushed Away and said like, let's do another water-based.
They learned a few lessons like how to do water. It's easy to like blend it with
the water looks great.
Yeah, I think that's got to be computer animated, right?
Yes, and they did still do a lot of computer animation, just like extending the scenes and stuff.
I think this was like the pinnacle of them figuring out how to blend the two in a way that it works perfectly, because they'd already started doing that with Were-Rabbit and whatnot. But this was like the pinnacle of that, where it's like it's just making the animation better versus taking it over and doing shitty version like you can Flushed Away.
Yeah, and
even though I don't think it's that bad.
This is kind of a proof of concept that Aardman can still like stick to its roots, still be stop motion, still do feature length, but can do it in a sustainable way.
Yeah.
I really love this movie. I think I would put this right now as my number 2 favorite feature behind Were-Rabbit.
Oh yeah,
which I love.
I can't argue with that. I mean, Were-Rabbit is very good, but
But
Like I said, rather it was a short.
before we started this series, I had never even heard of this movie before.
Yeah, it really went under the radar, and I don't really know why.
Like it should, because like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies
Yeah,
were
it's just
huge,
riding the coattails on them. Everyone's in the Pirates, right?
and no one in North America saw this movie.
I know it's really sad. Just because it had scientists in the title,
Yeah,
so they changed. They changed that. They fixed that.
bunch of nerds.
I remember as well. I thought, the bit where he's trying to plunder a bunch of different ships, and it ends up just being like a ghost ship, and
Yeah.
like he can't find a
That's
ship.
definitely Black Pearl.
Yeah, the first one that he goes to, where they're like, "Oh, it's a plague ship." It was actually in the original. It was a leper ship.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, this is a leper ship," and his eyes like arm fell off. And then the leprosy foundation in the UK complained.
That it was being insensitive?
Yeah, it's insensitive to lepers.
Okay.
So they changed it, and I was like, wow, I didn't really know that lepers were a thing still, but I guess they've got a foundation.
Don't tell them about that episode of The Simpsons where
Yeah, I know.
Bart and Homer get leprosy.
No, I just found that very interesting.
That is well, I guess they made the change. To Aardman's credit, they probably thought that leprosy wasn't really a thing anymore either.
It's like leprosy's not cool to make fun of. Oh shit, okay. We'd say plague. Is that okay?
Sorry. It's like, well, actually, the bubonic plague killed a lot of
it's
people.
like that's pretty insensitive.
They called it the Black Death.
Yeah, but the voice talent in this one is pretty great. Like mostly British, right? Is there anyone not British in? I mean, it's got Jeremy Piven's in it. He plays.
But he's not British, right?
No, that's what I mean. I was trying
Yeah.
to think of who's not British that's in the cast.
Um,
And what's her name? The lady pirate, Salma Hayek.
Oh yeah.
So a couple of non-British actors, but yeah, mostly.
What was it?
A lot of people came back from Arthur Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Melda Staunton and et al. I forget who else. But yeah, a few. I feel like they got a few people that they are kind of friends to Aardman that want to show up a lot.
So what were some of your favorite gags from this? You said it had the highest gag.
Man, it's hard to pick the favorite ones.
I love Darwin.
Yeah,
I
think
think
Darwin was
like
good.
the fact
I
that
love
he's
the
just
monkey as well.
kept talking about like how big of a loser he was and how like
just want to get a
he
girlfriend.
couldn't get a girlfriend. It's so funny.
It's a great take on Darwin. It's just some loser that's just sort of making notes.
It's like that's why I'm off on the Beagle trying to explore different islands because I'm just trying to get a girlfriend.
It's so obvious and like could be pretty stupid, but I really love all the suspiciously curvaceous pirate jokes.
Oh god, it's so funny.
It's just so stupid.
Well, and it's hilarious because there's already like a lady pirate captain.
I know.
So it's obviously okay with this. But
it could be a lady pirate,
I think her background story is she didn't know that being a lady pirate was okay, but now it's too late.
Well, I love the one bit where he's like, "Oh, there's a lot of women trying to dress up as pirates and pretend to be men. You gotta be careful with that thing." It's just totally obvious stuff there.
Yeah, that's so Monty Python, right?
Yeah, that's a great reference.
In Life of Brian, it's like, there's no women here today, is there? Oh no.
I just love the way they put the effort into making gags that are just like a great example is the very opening of the movie where it's the establishing shot of London and the little sign pops up and it says London 1886 or whatever, and then the camera pans out and it shows the guy holding the sign and he's like, shit, you're not supposed to be in frame, and he tries to duck. And I'm like, just right off the bat, it's that is a great gag that's just who thought of doing that? It's just a sign that pops up in every movie. It's now there's a geezer holding the sign just out of frame. He's accidentally in frame now. He just looks like he's looking around shit, what do I do?
I feel like so much of the Aardman humor just comes from the monotony of stop motion animation.
Yeah, what can we throw in the background?
It's we've been doing this shot for 5 days. What's some way we can have fun with it now?
Every time, I almost wanted to pause some of the scenes where they were walking through the town and all the shop names and stuff like that, just because they always put jokes in as the names.
Well, I'll have to watch again and then look more in the background.
I can't remember. There was one that was a funny dentist name. I can't remember what it was now, but it was they do the really obvious jokes IP Freely and all that kind of stuff, but they just shove them in everywhere.
It's just what's so funny about Aardman is that they're just a bunch of like little kids.
It's just like let's just make jokes for like make funny stupid stuff.
I love all the like the chimp gags and like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
cards are really funny.
Yeah, some of them were amazing. Like when he falls down, he's got an and it's just like a bunch of A's drop as he falls.
Yeah,
It's like he can't yell.
Yeah.
It's like he's not got any kind of voice.
and like yeah, all the pirate names are very funny. Like it's
I
just
love
called
that.
Pirate
Yeah, I
Captain.
love that they like. I want to. I wish I would have been in that meeting when they're like, okay, like these are the archetypes we have. We have a pirate captain, we have a pirate with gout, and we need names for all these guys. It's like, well, let's just call them pirate with
Yeah.
pilot with gout,
Where
pirate captain, pirate who likes sunsets. I think one of them is pirate who likes sunsets and kittens. Is like the big beefy guy. It's just like so stupid.
yeah, I love this is going to be one that I return to a lot, I think.
I, talking about how much I loved it, but the one thing, and I don't know if you agree, but I thought, and I was surprised, I thought Martin Freeman as number two, I thought he was probably the weakest in terms of performance. But I don't know if that was just like the character.
He was the first mate, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I just kind of thought he was a bit like,
He's just always in that
yeah,
second
it's just like
slot there, isn't he?
doing the Martin Freeman voice. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe it was just because everybody else, and like,
Was really
Hugh
popping.
Grant was just like so like I'm a pirate captain, like totally getting into it. He's just like monotone Martin
Although
Freeman. But I think that was kind of the point of that character. But I just like it felt to me a bit like not that it was phoned in, but it's just I would have liked a bit more out of that.
this would have been before his breakout, right?
Well, I don't know because he had
This
a big,
2012,
he had a pretty big
right?
breakout in the UK already, right? From The
With
Office.
yeah, with The Office and with Sherlock.
Yeah, so
Um,
he was already like he was pretty well known even like early days. So yeah, I'm not sure where this would have fallen.
when did he play Bilbo? Like when were those
Yeah,
movies?
that's a good point.
Probably after this, actually. So
Yeah, it must have been after this. There was a little period of time there where Martin Freeman was getting put in everything. Now he mostly does TV stuff, I think.
yeah, but he was in first season of Fargo.
Yeah, I not got around to watching that, but I heard that was
That's
very
pretty good.
good.
It's pretty good. He's pretty good in it.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor.
So I was looking up because I mentioned how this movie completely passed me by.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking up the Oscars for this year,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it did get nominated for Best Animated
Oh,
Feature.
it did.
Uh,
There you go.
and I think it should have won.
Did you see what won that?
So Brave won that year. And
What?
I think that this is like right at the peak of
That was when they
Pixar
just gave
bias.
Pixar everything. Yeah, I remember
Because,
those days.
I do like Brave, but it's a pretty
It's
flawed
fine.
movie.
It's fine.
I would say like
Yeah.
it's pretty messy.
If that came out now, people would be like, "Yeah, this is the lower tier of Pixar."
Yeah, like I think people are just giving Pixar the benefit of the doubt. It's the same sort of time when they just they gave it to Up, which I think is a pretty bad movie with an amazing beginning,
Yeah,
basically.
that's fair.
But no,
Well, I mean, the first 10 minutes of Up deserved an Oscar all by itself.
yeah, but put it in short.
True.
And then what else? Like Frankenweenie was that year
Oh,
too.
okay.
So like
good year for animation.
it's like some heavy hitter stuff, but like
Mm.
this movie's really good. Like I think
amazing.
I think it deserved it. But Oscars love Walls and Gromit, and that's about it for the Aardman stuff.
True. That's very true. No, but yeah, love this one.
I love if you are like me and you are from North America, you probably haven't really heard of this movie before.
Yeah, check it
It's
out.
one of my favorite Hugh Grant performances.
Yeah, just there's so many. Like I say, there's just so many visual gags, and it's like I love how when they're on the boat and they're throwing the red discs out the back, so that when it goes to the map and the red dotted line on the map is just like an actual thing they did. It's so silly.
It's a perfect companion to like the Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And the characters are all so well rounded and fun. It's just hits all over the thing.
All right. Well, would you have been heartbroken if I didn't like this movie?
I wouldn't have been heartbroken, but
Oh, come on, come on.
I would have judged you. I would have
Okay.
judged the shit out of you.
Would you have judged me like silently or like
No, I would have.
You would have confronted me?
I would have said it would have been the last episode of the podcast.
whoa, okay.
No, maybe not that.
So we're on
Maybe not that much, but no. Well, I never know though because sometimes I think it's very, very British. Like I always say how I love that they put things in that only British people will get, and there's a particular thing in this movie that nobody outside of England or Great Britain would know what it is, and it's not a big thing, but it's funny, and it's the pirate, the Brendan Gleeson pirate, the one we've got. He's got a little badge on his hat. It's a little white badge with a blue ship
Yeah.
on it, and that is a Blue Peter badge. And anybody listening to this in England knows exactly what a Blue Peter badge is.
A Blue Peter badge.
It's a kids TV show that's been running since like I think like the 60s or even the 50s, and it's like a variety magazine type show where they just have like people on, they do interviews, they bring kids on, they do competitions, they just it's just one of those old shows where it's just like, hey kids, let's have a fun time. And they did competitions where you could earn a Blue Peter badge by doing like
Do you
community
have one?
I didn't. I never got one, but I always wanted one.
Okay.
Like it was one of those things. Like if you had a Blue Peter badge, you were the shit. In like when you were when you were a little kid. And yeah. So he had a Blue Peter badge on his hat, and I was like, I love that. Like nobody would get that.
Okay.
Yeah. So Blue Peter.
Blue
Respect.
Peter and Anton Deck.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well we've arrived at the theater.
We never got into Loaf and Dev.
Oh, you know what? We'll make some.
We'll touch on that later, maybe on the
We'll
way
touch
back.
on that, but yeah, we definitely
It's
got.
good, by the way.
Yeah,
If we don't get to it, it's really good.
we definitely got to make room for that for
Our
sure.
beloved Wallace and Gromit. We didn't even talk.
We talked about pirates for too long.
Pirates is too good, man. We can't talk about Pirates and Loaf and Dev without spending an hour.
Okay, let's make sure to start with that when we come
Okay,
back.
yeah, you guys will have to wait.
Okay. If you're new to the podcast, Pete and I are going to go inside and watch Black Bag. Come back and give a spoiler-free review before giving plenty of warning before heading into spoiler talk.
Yeah, so don't be afraid about getting things spoiled. We'll give plenty of warning before we get into that stuff. And we'll just give our immediate reactions when we come out.
All right, there we go. We're a little late, so we should go.
Okay.
Wish us luck.
Yep, bye guys. Welcome back, everyone. We're already on the road, heading back from Black Bag in it.
Yeah, this is going to be a crisp episode, just like that was a crisp movie.
Yes. What was it? Exactly 90 minutes
Yeah.
or something?
I checked because I was clocking on my watch. And
Really,
as soon
really
as
appreciate that.
the directed by Steven Soderbergh came up, I looked and it was 1 hour, 29 minutes, 45 seconds. Like,
It's interesting because they could have easily made that a 2 hour plus movie. They could have pulled it. They could have easily pulled the taffy on it. But I kind of respect that they didn't. I like that.
I really appreciated that, and I'm just gonna jump ahead and say I love this movie. I really, really, really liked it.
I also quite liked it. I mean, I really hope there aren't people in the world like the people in this movie.
Yeah,
Like, please, God, like, I hope there's people who don't live life like that. But luckily I don't have to deal with them even if there is.
yeah, I feel like spy agencies couldn't possibly be like that.
It
also feels very realistic.
On the one hand, though, it's like either they couldn't be like that or they would just have to be like that because it's a certain kind. You have to be a certain kind of way to do a certain kind of job, I guess. But man, oh man, yeah, it was really well done and like surprisingly like funny, and
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
and like kind of romantic.
Yeah,
in
like
a way, which I
weirdly
really
romantic.
appreciated.
Yeah, true.
It was just like it was a different take on the spy genre. It was honestly a breath of fresh air.
True. Like all the tropes. It kind of it played with like your expectations around like, oh, it's a spy. It's all the spy genre tropes where it's double crosses and all that kind of stuff. It kind of plays with those a little bit without spoiling too much. I think it does a great job of subverting some of those expectations and doing not like crazy new things, but just like things that you're like, oh crap, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah, and this movie moves like it
just goes at a clip.
It
right?
just goes. But I don't think it really did a good job of like keeping you up to pace without making it seem like it was just like hand feeding you.
Yeah, like it didn't do a lot of like you say, had like hand feeding explanation of like, here's a bunch of exposition to explain what you need to know in order to move on. It was just like, no, this is just unfolding and you figure it out. And it's like it wasn't because usually in a movie like this, there's a point where like I don't I'm confused about what's happening. Can someone explain to me what just happened? So I know I've got it right. But I felt like they didn't need to do that. It was pretty. It's be like, this is what it is. This is it.
Yeah, and like, well, there's a lot of complicated stuff going on,
Yeah,
but
towards
then
the end as well. Yeah.
I don't know, like it just does a really good job of detailing everyone's motivations, and it helps that there are scenes where they accuse people of the things, and then it shows the things that actually happened, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
the people confirm that it happened.
Yes.
It's just it seems so simple, but it's so effective
Yeah. True.
in just kind of keeping the audience up to speed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Some negatives for me.
Hmm.
Well, partly a negative, partly a positive. I think that this movie was completely naturally lit
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
because there are some times where it's pretty hard to see
Yeah.
exactly what's going on.
That's for sure.
So I don't know if you could possibly look this up on how this was filmed
Yeah.
because it looks like it was filmed like I don't know, maybe it was filmed with an iPhone. Honestly, like and
Yeah.
it looks like it was all natural light because I noticed as they switched from scene to scene, there's like lampposts that are really brightly lit,
Yeah, that's
for
true.
instance.
Know exactly what you're talking about.
And like when they first get to Fassbender and Blanchette's house, I'm not going to really remember characters' names that well.
No, no, I don't blame you.
I'm like, oh, I can like barely make out anyone's faces here. So like, it's kind of unusual cinematography in that like it's not trying to light things too much, which goes completely against recent trends of
Right.
of
Yeah.
lighting things.
Well, I'm not finding any information on my quick Googling skills here.
Well, I'll just have to look it up later. But I know like Soderbergh's always kind of playing with how to make things like quickly and cheaply. So it really wouldn't
Right.
surprise me if that was the case.
No, not seeing anything here, but you might be right because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I agree.
So how do the performances work for you?
I thought they were really well. I really like Pierce Brosnan in this one.
He was fantastic, man. He
He's
was
just like
great.
it's like just like he wasn't in it a lot, to be
Yeah.
fair, but like I think every time he was in it, you could just tell the contempt he had for everybody, basically.
Well, he's sort of playing like an old spy who wishes he was still young.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
wishes he was still young and involved in all the intrigue.
exactly.
I'm really liking his transition to elder statesman.
Yeah, me too. I've
I
always
think
liked
really
Pierce
suits
Brosnan.
him.
Yeah, he's perfect for that.
Honestly, not my favorite Bond by any
You know what?
means,
He
but
was.
I like him a lot as an
Yeah,
actor.
you know what? He was kind of my Bond. We'll have to do a Bond thing at some point. But he was my Bond growing up, and I always had a soft spot for Pierce Brosnan as Bond. So I always put him quite high on my list of favorite Bonds. In no way was he the best, but I always enjoyed
I think I would.
bit of Goldfinger, not Goldfinger, Goldeneye.
I think I was just too influenced by my parents,
Oh
who
yeah,
like they were always repping, Connery and
yeah,
more,
yeah.
and so I think that really influenced me from a young age. So like, even when Brosnan first started with it, I was like, oh man,
Oh really?
I'm not sure about this new guy.
I see. I was different. I think like my introduction to Bond was Brosnan, so I think that's why he has a soft spot for me.
Yeah, and I think that's the case for most people our age. Just
Yeah, yeah.
like
So, yeah, so he was down Bond growing up.
as a family, we had just like always kind of watched those movies anyways. So
Gotcha.
yeah. But anyways, I still kind of have always liked him as an actor, even though I didn't really love his Bond. And to be fair, like he could have like the later Bond movies he was in weren't his fault that they were so terrible.
No,
They were
no.
just like so poorly
Yeah,
constructed.
he was always a great Bond in not sometimes not so great Bond movies, which they all were to an extent. So they all had their bad movies.
But he was my favorite part of Black Adam, which is a bad
You know
movie.
what?
But
He was really good in
I
that.
think he was really good as
Dr.
Doctor
Fate,
Fate. Yeah, I
yeah.
think he was great. Like
Yeah, I'm
he
sorry.
brought that movie up like an extra 2 stars, and I only rated the movie like 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I remember being like, what that movie had so much potential. I wish the DC universe had done better.
His Hawkman was pretty good in that one
I
too.
mean, that's
Like,
Hawkman. Hawkman, is he in the new one? The new Superman movie?
I think he's supposed to be in the new one. Yeah, like, 'cause it's
Or is it
just,
Hawk Girl? I don't know.
I think Hawkman, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
And then I think Fassbender is really, really good.
Oh man, he's so good in this. He plays that like silent,
Yeah, like,
creepy, almost like creepy sort of.
so
You don't know what he's thinking.
do you know the Fassbender meme where he's like, it's like perfection?
Yes, yes.
He's playing that this whole movie. He's playing the.
That's like the X. Is it from X-Men?
It's from X-Men, yeah. But he's playing at that level this entire movie.
Yeah.
I loved his glasses. I loved his hat. His like whole fishing setup. I think he looked great in.
He was very like, I don't know what the kids say, but like his drip was on point, man.
His drip?
Is that what they say?
I don't know. I think that's
going for the younger demographic here.
Honestly, like all of my young lingo I hear from you for the first time on this podcast. I had seriously never heard skibbity.
Get with it, Trevor. I don't know any of the actual. I mean, I know from my like 8-year-old kid, and from what I gleaned from Reddit, that's about all I know.
Yeah, my kid's a little younger, so I think I'm getting it a little later than you are. But so I'm one step removed. Like you were my contact into the youth of today, and you're a couple years older than me too. So.
No, but his outfits were very spiffy.
They were great. And
they both looked amazing in this
Kate
movie.
Blanchett was great.
Yeah. I mean, you get Fassbender and Kate Blanchett in your movies, you're gonna get good performances. Do you know any of the other actors? Like the one guy, he was like, we talked about Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah, he was like the paladin character in that one. He's really good
in that, like super straight guy, which he kind of does it plays in this one a little bit too. But no, he was really good. But they were all good though. But I didn't recognize any of them from anything else though.
I recognized the therapist.
Right.
I want to say her name is Naomi Harris.
Oh, was it?
I'm trying to think. I
know that name.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I know her from. So I recognized the name when I was looking at the cast list earlier.
Yeah, that's a very familiar name to me too.
And I recognized the.
Oh, she was in Moonlight.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
And 28 Days Later, and Skyfall, and Spectre. So she's been in a bunch of spy movies. I don't.
Oh, she must be Moneypenny then.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course, that's who it was.
Yeah, that's who she is. Okay, that's kind of funny that she's in another spy movie.
Yeah, right. James Bond and Moneypenny in this one.
She did like. That's kind of crazy though, because she looks like she's in her like late 20s. That she would still like to be in Skyfall. So she's aging pretty well.
Looking good.
And then I know I've seen Freddy in some things before.
He had one of those faces though. Like he's got an everyman face.
Yeah, those people. He's got a beard. Like you can't tell what's under that beard.
Oh, he was in Furiosa.
Oh yeah,
Praetorian Jack.
Yeah,
that's who he was.
Praetorian Jack. That's right, and he's also from the Souvenir. And Souvenir Part 2. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is.
I didn't realize that was him.
Tom Burke.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was him either. But now you mention it, it's like, oh yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, he was one of the best parts of Furiosa.
Yeah, I didn't like him as much in that, but go listen to our episode about Furiosa.
You were the one who rated that in your top 10 movies.
I did, but Praetorian Jack wasn't my favorite character in it.
Well, he's basically.
And I don't really understand it because everybody loved him in that, and I didn't really like that whole.
I liked him a lot. I liked their relationship, and
that's what I mean. I didn't like that whole relationship. It didn't work for me.
So, did the relationship in you know what, we maybe shouldn't get in too much into that because that might be spoilery.
Yeah. I mean, is there more we need to talk about before we jump into spoilers?
Let's talk about a matter of
a loaf of death. Yeah, we don't want to spoil that. I mean, we are going to spoil it, but that's not a brand new movie, so you've been warned.
All right, so I don't think we've ever done this before, but we kind of have to
like plant in a mini review inside our main review. But you know what? Wallace and Gromit deserve it.
So what do you think of them having like a human antagonist in one of these? Well, I guess they did that before in Were-Rat too.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, they always have like a love interest for Wallace, or they try and throw a love interest in there. So I like that they sort of made the love interest be the main villain in the end. I like that aspect of it. Yeah, I thought the villain worked really well. I love the idea of like she was working for the baking company and then
She just eats
just
too much
ate
bread.
so much that she like couldn't do it anymore. It's just a stupid, no funny thing. No, I like
Yep.
that.
I think this one's probably, I would say, the weakest of the shorts, but I still think like the floor to Wallace and Gromit is pretty high already.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I love the short structure rather than the features for Wallace and Gromit because it's just like get in, do their adventure, and move on.
Wallace is just such a sad sack in love. Like he's just like completely oblivious to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, he doesn't take he just takes Wallace he just takes Gromit for granted, man. Like it pisses me off.
But it's love, man. That's what it is. It's just true love.
But his soulmate is his dog, and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, but
it drives me crazy.
Gromit realizes it though.
He does.
He just rolls his eyes and.
But you know what? He gets a love interest in this one.
He does.
So good for him.
Yeah. Didn't really go anywhere. I do appreciate they kind of always end the Wallace and Gromit movies just like
it's just a reset. Yeah,
it's just like all that crazy shit happened, but they've left now, and we'll just crack on, have a cup of tea.
I'm on the Wallace and Gromit subreddit, and a lot of people are always asking about like, where's Fluffy, right? Because Shaun the Sheep got his own spin-off series.
True.
And Fluffy's a pretty good character too.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Maybe they're lining it up. I don't know why Shaun the Sheep took off so much. I mean, he's a fun character, but
I swear because he was shivering. people really like
wearing a jumper.
Yeah,
as they say in England. For those who don't know,
he's not even like a little scamp in that movie too. So
really, no, he's just
like,
kind of just there.
Yeah, he's not really Shaun.
Like he's not the Shaun the Sheep from the TV show. It's like a totally different character in reality.
In reality?
No, I mean not in reality, but like in the context of the characters, he's totally different. Yeah. So where do you said it's not your favorite? Like, where would you rank it?
I'd put it last amongst the shorts, but
yeah, I can't argue with that. I don't think.
I think like it's pretty boring to say like my rankings would be Wrong Trousers, Close Shave, Grand Day Out, and Matter of Loaf and Death, right? I think that
really
might be most people's ranking.
Yeah.
But
here's a question for you then. Do you think this story would have worked better as a feature?
Because it's so telegraphed.
It is.
Right? I think it really benefits from being a short because like
I don't know how you would pull that mystery out.
You know where it's going the whole time. Like no offense to Wallace, but the only way that someone's going to marry you is if they're planning on murdering you, buddy. I'm sorry.
The nice lady from A Close Shave.
Yeah, well, she had problems too.
The yarn lady.
Yeah, the yarn lady with the crazy robot dog.
And the
Preston.
Sheep. Yeah, Preston. That's his show.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think Wallace is a great guy, but
he's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. Let's be honest.
He's a rare combination of like genius, idiot, and he's like completely unfuckable. Like I'm just
wow.
I'm sorry,
harsh, man.
Like he's got no drip.
He's got no
whatsoever.
Well, it's got no riz.
Like people in this universe seem to think he has riz.
He's a nice guy, and he's got a bunch of cheese and a nice dog, and he's really good at doing menial jobs. He's got tons of them. Plus, he really invents some really cool shit.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's better than most people on Tinder.
I
don't think you're giving Wallace his just desserts, man.
No, I think I've been too kind, if anything.
He said he was unfuckable.
He is.
That's harsh, man.
I think he is. And I think, I think people would agree with me.
I don't know, mate. I think.
Okay. Poll going up on this episode.
Would you fuck Wallace?
No, like,
yes,
Okay, what percentage do you think would count as unfuckable then? If 80% say no?
Sure.
Okay. Okay,
We need at least 20%.
okay, come on,
Or
people.
20% or
Come
more.
on, people.
More
You
than
got to
20.
show up. The stakes are pretty high on this one.
I mean, look. I mean, he's got a sleeveless
I never
sweater vest. Like, come on now.
I never actually do any of these polls that I'm talking about.
I don't know. We really should start doing
We
it.
should. Because I used to do more, but
Well, they used to let you do multiple choice questions on Spotify, but now they don't.
well, they used to let you ask questions on there too.
Yeah, now it's just like a poll.
It's just it's just comments now. So, anyways,
Sort it out, Spotify.
is Wallace fuckable? I say no. Pete says hard yes.
Definite yes.
Okay, so we're 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
This could shake out any way.
Yeah.
I'll ask my wife when I get home. It's like, hey,
Me or Wallace, who you picking?
that's
You might not like the answer you get, Trevor. I'm just warning you.
that's okay. Anyways,
How the hell did we get onto that?
because I said that the only reason someone would marry Wallace is because they want to murder him.
Harsh, man. Harsh.
Well, I don't know. I also feel like he would not be an attentive husband.
No, probably not. But he might be able to invent something that would be attentive. Like a robot butler or something.
His love is cheese. Like he's never going to be able to give
tea and crackers and cheese.
He's never going to be able to give a woman everything that she needs because he's just got too much stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Gromit. He's basically
exactly
emotionally neglected wife of Wallace at this point.
The greatest thrill in Wallace's life is to lie in bed and have someone like flip the bed over and him fall down a chute. Like
that's just because he's so happy about his inventions, though. It's like a kid. He's like, press the button so I can show you. How
exactly. How can a woman compete with that?
No, he seems to get loved up really easily, though.
I think they all flare out.
It's just puppy love, right?
He just goes off to build the newest thing.
He burns hot, man.
Okay, we should get back to the movie here. All right, so let's go into spoilers for Black Bag.
Yeah,
The structure of this episode is going to be crazy.
Matter of Loaf and Death is all right. It's pretty good. Watch it, guys. It's a decent. It's Wallace and Gromit. You can't go wrong with Wallace and Gromit.
Okay, if you don't want Black Bag spoiled, drop off now.
Yes. Done.
I'm really happy that this movie did not just go the cliched route of, she was actually like a baddie the whole time, and then he has to choose between.
That was the one thing I did kind of feel like that was a bit telegraphed. And I love that they actually made mention of it in the movie when they were like, I was like, all these super spies who are that good, and she's just like left the freaking movie stub in the trash.
I'm really relieved.
I was like, that's so stupid. At the end, it was like, that was stupid. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. But I mean, it's even stupid that they would try and plant that, though.
It's amateurish.
Like the plan was so complex. To have that be a thing that they did just seemed a bit like, you wouldn't do that. That's just super. Like, what was it even trying to prove? That there was a movie stub, like that she was lying to him about going to the movies. What does that even prove?
Yeah. So like maybe they were just trying to be like
super
obvious about it because there were two like ensnarement traps going on at the same time, which I thought was pretty clever.
That was pretty clever, actually.
And that like you can't really puzzle this out because there's two different motivations going on at the same time.
Yeah. I love that they were all, apart from the one girl, she's just like, what, you're all fucking weird. At the end,
she's like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah, like, all of them were so intertwined and lying and scheming, apart from this one girl. It did legit stab him in the hand there at one point. That was
hilarious.
I love how he drugged them all so much. That dinner party scene was like so great.
It was incredible.
It was just like, man, this is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen happen.
Both scenes around that table were so well done.
I kind of bookend the whole movie in such a great way.
I love how the movie kind of turns on a dime when Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett say like, just talk to each other and say like, okay, here's what I think's going on. So the movie just pivots on a husband and wife having good communication skills with each other, which is so refreshing to actually see in a movie. Like,
well, and it's great because the whole movie kind of makes you think that it's going to be they're going to go against each other like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith
Yeah.
style thing where there's going to be like Fassbender's going to be like, oh, I have to go after this, and like they even make it like overt, put it in the trailer and everything. It's like, oh, where would your loyalties lie if it was your country or your wife and all this? But like, it's not actually about that. It's just
No.
about them being like one step ahead of everyone, realizing that
Yeah. They realize that they're in a trap, but
really quickly
they
they
can use it to
realize
their
what's going on,
advantage.
and then they just fucking deal with it as a team, and it's done, and they fucking like, we've got this shit.
Yeah.
Just like, wow, respect to that.
Well, and it's kind of funny that they know that Pierce Brosnan is the mastermind.
Right.
So their revenge against Pierce Brosnan is to just disrupt the plan.
Yeah.
But then when they go for the lower tier people, it's because it's personal, because those people
Right.
fucked with their marriage. So that's the person who has to die.
Right. And
Like, I don't even really think it's about, like, their colleague who was murdered or whatever.
Oh no.
They were mad that this person decided to
Just
fuck
fucking
with them.
They literally say like, don't fuck with our marriage ever again.
Yeah. So, like, they are, like, still mostly loyal to the UK.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's like,
everyone
it
is-
worked out well that we actually approve of what you guys did in the end, but you still should fuck with what we're doing here.
Yeah. Like, it seemed like they're still going to keep those £7 million. And
well, yeah,
everyone in this agency is, for the most part, working in the interest of the United Kingdom, but also still working for their own interests.
Yeah.
And it seems like they can use surveillance at their own whims sometimes.
Really good surveillance, man. That was the one thing. I think I even mentioned it to you in the theater when she was like, "Oh, I have this handy dandy lip reading AI chip that I can just put in the thing here, and it'll really help us out." I was like, "Well, that was fucking handy."
Honestly, if I saw that 2 years ago, I might roll my eyes, but I kind of buy into that now.
But I mean, they could have just said, "Oh, we'll just use the AI software." Like, I would have
The
believed
fa-
that more.
yeah,
Then, like, I'll
that's-
pull this out of the freaking drawer and stick it in here.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell?
The fact that it's a beta doesn't really even make sense,
know,
because
right?
like the most applicable use of a satellite technology for spies is to read people's lips from space.
I think the only reason they did that is because they needed some reason for why she couldn't close it down.
Yeah.
So that it would get caught.
That was actually very relatable for like that they had to pull out
Why
that
isn't it
thing.
working? Why isn't it working?
Yeah.
It's like, you don't pull the thing out, you fucking idiot. Stop panicking.
The only time that I feel that maybe like Fassbender wasn't giving like the most believable performance is after that Russian escaped, and then he looks way too wrecked during that meeting.
I like that. He was like,
He was shook.
he was properly, and he's just like, and it's the first time he shows any emotion in the whole movie because he's so cold. Like calculated, and then in that moment, he's just like when he's like, no, and he first finds out, and he goes in that meeting, and he's just like, what do I do?
Actually, and that's a clue that Pierce Brosnan is like sort of behind this thing.
Good point.
Because
he's got like a knowing look in his eye,
and Fassbender's being like too obvious that
right.
I don't like what happened here. That like Pierce Brosnan would have asked him like, dude, you look fucking
it's
guilty.
Like someone
here.
in here needs to find out who this leak is, and he's just like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, guys.
But I honestly love how the movie turns, and then the couple just decides like, all right, we are all in on each other. We're gonna trust each other, and then we're gonna dig ourselves out of this.
Yeah, it's good. It's good point that you mentioned that about Pierce Brosnan, because I think we already mentioned it with the movie stuff thing, but I think the movie did a really great job of, like I said earlier, about like your expectations are sort of subverting them. It's like everything you think is like a plot hole or something that's like didn't make sense with the movie. By the end, it's flipped it to be like, oh yeah, like there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
there's a reason why that didn't seem like right. It's because he knew, or it's because it was a plan, and they were all playing against each other. So I really did appreciate that.
Yeah, like as I said, the movie just hums along.
Oh, man, does it ever? Yeah.
I think everything takes place within a week.
Yeah.
Right? I think it goes from Saturday to Saturday.
You know what? Really picking nits here, being a bit of a pedant, but one thing I really did not like about this movie is the typeface they used to say the days on the screen.
Yeah, I can see that, because
I was like, that is a choice. It just didn't fit the movie at all. It was like a weird typeface that was all like flowery and shit. I don't know. Not that it's a big deal what typeface you use to show what day of the week it is, but I was just like, every time it came up, I was like, I don't know why they decided that was the typeface to go for.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess Fassbender, Blanchett are quite an ostentatious couple. They live in this
I guess so.
huge, fancy, modern house.
I know. I think they mentioned a couple of times about how she really worries about money.
Yeah,
But I'm like, they obviously have a lot of money.
because they did telegraph that he doesn't care about money at all,
Yeah.
and then she grew up poor. It's kind of hinting
her
at,
mother was poor or whatever.
and so that it like plants the seeds that maybe she cares a bit too much about money, so she wants a bit of a nest egg.
Right.
Not that she would like fully go rogue. I don't think that Fassbender ever thought that.
Right.
And he seems kind of guilty that he ever kind of even considered it, and then he was ever even suspicious of the movie ticket thing because it's so obvious that it's
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like
who even has a ticket stub?
Yeah, I feel
anymore?
like by the end of it, he was like, I never doubted you for a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
And I was just trying to figure out what was going on. Which, yeah, to your point, like,
did you buy that?
I don't know if I bought it because why wouldn't he have just brought it up to her?
Yeah,
and I think that was her point. It's like, why don't you just say something to me? And he was like, well, I don't remember what his answer was to that, actually, to be honest with you.
when he was talking to that brunette when they were doing like the satellite handover thing,
yeah.
he said, "This is how you make relationships here work."
Right.
See, I would do anything for this woman that I was spying on here, and she would do anything for me.
That was a great.
And then that was a great girl's like, "Oh, that's so hot,
so hot."
And he shows up to her house at like 11 p.m. at night, and she's like, "This is just unexpected." I'm not saying no, but could you go in more detail? He's like,
"Is that why you're here?
I need you to hack a satellite for me." She's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
So disappointed.
It's like everyone's just like fucking everybody in this movie.
Apparently that's all they do in spy organizations. Is just they're all incestuously banging each other.
Like honestly, these people need to get tested.
I love at the end when he was like, she's only sleeping with you because she thought she might need you later on. It's like, no, that can't
come
be it.
on.
She's like, yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
A poor guy, man.
And that other guy is just like so insulted that that's the that's the guy that she's seeing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the different scenes of talking to the therapist. Like when Kate Blanchett just goes in and it's just like totally cold and calculated, telling her everything she needs to hear, and he's just like ends up actually like psychoanalyzing her to the point where she's like
okay, the session's over.
It's like, I can't deal with you. You're too smart for me.
I'm just gonna say, I think that is not a good therapist. I feel like she's getting a little too involved with her patients there.
I'm sleeping with two of them.
I feel like that agency should have a rule like you're not allowed to date people.
There's a lot of conflict of interest going around.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Pierce Brosnan needs to get his freaking house in order, man.
That's like everyone's just running over fucking everybody over there.
I mean, I guess that's. Then she makes mention of that. I'm totally blanking on all of the names, but she's like,
I can't date.
This is our job, is to lie and be good at it, and like be okay with doing that. So it's like, of course you're going to lie to your coworkers and try and sleep with them and get whatever benefits you can out of people and use them. It's like, that's all we do.
At any point you could just run off to another city and say like, "Oh, I'm going on a black bag mission. Sorry."
I love that. There was no black bags over the head though. You were wrong about that, Trevor.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a term that they used to be like,
well, that's got to be the
can't talk about it.
That's got to be the origin of that, don't you think?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I don't know. You're the
black bag.
You're the British one. Tell me.
I've never heard of it before. Yeah. That's why I was like, I don't know what it means. It's the black bag. I've got a question for you. Why do you think he didn't shoot him on the fishing boat? Do you think he just wasn't fully...
I think
he needed a confession, maybe? Or he wanted a confession?
I don't think he wanted a confession because they just shot him and buried him in the lake.
That's what I mean. They should shoot him in the end anyway. I feel like they just wanted to hear him say it.
I think he knew. I think he knew he was the principal actor on it. I think that there was a piece or two that was still missing for him, and he wanted the complete picture just for his own satisfaction.
Also, I feel like he's just like a big drama bitch. Like he's like a Poirot. He's like, I want everyone in the room so I can show everyone how smart I am.
I think so.
Right?
I think that he's showing off for his wife, and his wife gets off on him doing that sort of stuff.
And like, how stupid did that guy have to be to think that was a real loaded gun that they were just going to put on the table and let him pick up and try and shoot him?
Even Kate Blanchett says the game is who's going to pick up the gun first, and then he doesn't think that this might be a test.
Right?
I don't think that they were completely set on shooting him, right. But as soon as like she saw that he was gonna murder her husband. She's like, "Oh, you gotta fucking die, boom."
Yeah. Well, I think they did plan to murder because they kept that girl kept saying like, "Why is this a different rug? Why is there
Yeah.
a new rug in here?" She was like so nervous about there being a new rug. And then,
I think that
and then they just like nonchalantly say like, "We got to get him in the rug when he's dead."
I think that
love
was
that
their
bit.
I think that was their preferred contingency, but I don't think it was necessarily having to go that route.
And I also like the fact that like they had the rug ready so they could wrap him up and stuff, but they also plastered his brains all over that wall. Like someone's got to clean that stuff up. Who's doing that? Like you could have probably just.
You know, I gotta think Fassbender does all the cooking. I would
Yeah.
have to think Blanchett's got to
It
be doing all
seems
the
like she
cleaning.
doesn't really do much of nothing, man. He's like a pretty good house husband.
I
She's
love
just lounging around looking glamorous and
honestly,
being horny.
I love that apron he had.
Yeah.
That was a sick apron.
Everything he wore in this whole movie was just legit, man. It's
I
like
loved his glasses. Like he had a great look.
He did. Drip was bussing. I have no idea if that's right.
His drip was bustin'? Is that what you said?
Bussing.
Bussin'. What is bussing?
For real.
My God. I feel like I'm going insane all this.
Well, don't worry, because everyone's just cringing about me trying to say these words that I don't even understand. So either people don't understand me or they think I'm cringe. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, they think it's whack.
Yeah, whack. So it's whack.
That's about 20 years out of date.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone in our demographic even knows what we're talking about now, but that's fine.
Yeah, we definitely skew 35 plus.
Yeah, I don't think we've got many young fans.
Anyways, so we're coming to the end of our journey here. Any last thoughts on Black Bag?
No, like I think I mentioned before I went in, I was like kind of like hoping that this would. I was secretly hoping I was going to enjoy this one, and I really did. And I appreciate the swift runtime and more of this kind of thing, please. Which probably won't happen because it's not going to make any money.
Yeah, this is going to come and go from theaters pretty quick.
That'll be it.
I'd say definitely see it in theater if you can.
Definitely.
I think most people are probably going to watch at home. I would definitely like to revisit this one.
I did feel that I feel like the trailer tried to sell it as something it's not necessarily is.
Right. No, I didn't see the trailer.
They put all the action that's in the movie in the trailer, basically, like the car explosion.
Well,
and all the lines that are important, even though they happen in the first 10 minutes, but it was like everything was in the trailer, and they made it look like it's like Jason Bourne style. All this stuff's happening. There's gonna be like stuff exploding and car chases. It's like no, it's none of that.
Yeah, really, it's kind of like just like a faster paced Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Right, exactly. And even the one explosion that hadn't it was like superly artfully done with like they stripped the audio right out and just had music played over it. It was pretty great.
Had to have been a cheap movie to make.
True.
Honestly, like
they used like 3 sets. That was it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like and just like paying. Oh, there's a skunk right there, dude.
Oh crap. I'm hiding here for a while.
Okay. Oh, it's going to your neighbor's house here.
Yeah, there's a skunk that lived outside my house last year and got my dog, so.
Oh, he's scurrying away. Yeah. You're good.
They scare me.
They scare me too.
I don't need that smell in my life. It doesn't go away.
I wonder if you're going to make it inside the house. Oh, there it is!
There he goes in the road.
Here,
that's a brave skunk, man. He's not nearly caring.
You can try to snap a picture.
There you go. Pepe running across the road.
There you go.
You have to get that in the Facebook group.
That'll be for the fans to see. It's a real. Yeah. You know what? I bet you these geofencers could figure out exactly where we live just based.
Probably didn't know that skunk's name. Some of those guys are insane.
You just said his name is Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew, and he's a horny skunk.
There you go.
This movie's
for your cats.
This movie's pretty horny too.
Not like Pepe Le Pew. I mean, it wasn't horny, like I was there's certain parts of it, like, is this gonna start getting a bit like X-rated up in this? Like, are they gonna start getting it on? But they kept it pretty classy. But it was definitely very funny.
They kept it pretty classy, but they were talking about like banging the whole time. Basically.
Yes. But even like the scenes with Fassbender and Blanchett, I was like, I was like half expected it to go down some weird kinky alleys, but it didn't.
It seems like it probably does when the camera's not
right.
On.
That's what I mean. It's like she's like, rub my back, and then I flip me over, and it's like, and then cut to the next day. I was like, oh, okay. Take your glasses off.
That's a fog up.
Yeah, I love that scene where it fogs up when he's
That's
cooking.
hilarious,
He's just
yeah.
like not even reacted. It's like, dude, like, can you even see what you're doing? That food looked legit though.
Yeah.
I went past Bender to come in with his GQ outfit and just cook me dinner. It'd be pretty sweet.
That masala looked pretty good.
Right? Even with the drugs in it.
Honestly, I'd give it a whirl.
Yeah.
I try.
Stabbing people's hands.
I try anything once.
Anyways, that's probably good for today. I think we've exhausted
There we go.
all our love for Black Bag.
Definitely don't sleep on this one. I like this one a lot.
Yeah. Soderbergh's back.
Well, for now. Wait 6 months.
Yeah, this one's definitely one of the plus ones.
Definitely. Okay, anything else, Pete?
No, I think we're probably good to wrap it up there. Give us a like, give us a mention, tell your friends, spread the word. We appreciate all you guys.
Yeah, we're giving away a subscription to Letterboxd Patron. Check us out at First Look Final W on Letterboxd.
All you gotta do is give us a follow, and you could win some free stuff. So it's always good, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we on next week? What's on the agenda? I forget.
Let me pull up the
Check
the
out
old schedule
check out our
here.
socials for
Yeah,
we got the whole agenda up for the next month.
I got a schedule on.
We're actually planning stuff out.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
We're seeing Ash next week.
No
And then-
idea what that is, but
It's a space one. It's got Aaron Paul in it.
really,
Yeah.
don't know anything.
That's all I really know about it. So
I like space stuff and Aaron Paul.
yeah, and then we're
I hope he says space bitch.
space bitch.
We're in space, bitch.
We have a double feature talking Shaun the Sheep and Early Man.
Ooh, I've never seen Early Man.
I've never seen Early Man either.
I hear it's garbage, so we'll see.
I've heard some people really like it.
Well, good.
And that's a
because
Nick Park too, right?
I've purposely never watched it because I love Aardman and I love everything they do, and I don't want to see a movie that I don't like. But you know what?
Well,
I don't believe the crowd, man.
You know what?
Make your own opinion.
80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There
It's
you
pretty
go.
good.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe Nick Park just can't make a bad movie.
I think so, man. I think so.
Okay.
All
If
right.
you're a fan of Early Man, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And we'll talk about it next week.
Yep.
All right. Well, until then, thanks, guys. That's the final word.
Bye.